Hello, viewers. Good day to you all, wherever you may be. I am in Milan, Italy, and we've come to our program, News Echoes Monday, Between the Lines. Between the Lines is here again. My name is Matt Godwin Iweajua, and Between the Lines is done with my colleagues and coordinators. In faraway Toronto, Canada, is our Between the Lines man, Sir George Chuku. You're welcome, Sir George.
Good afternoon, my Godwin. How are you? And the viewers from around the world, we welcome you to our show today. It's going to be a fantastic one.
Yes, thank you, George. Also joining us to make it fantastic is our man, Olayinka Ogbeni Olayinka Raji, Lagos, Nigeria. You're welcome, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, viewers across the globe. Welcome to Between the Lines Echoes this evening.
Between the Lines
How,
Echoes.
how is the weather in Nigeria, Raji?
Yeah.
Still very warm, quite warm.
Okay.
Quite warm. We are praying for the rains.
Oh, you want rain, eh?
Yes, it rained in some areas. It
Mhm.
rained in some areas today, but it didn't rain in our area. Probably our sins are too much.
Yes, and not too much. Well, it's the rain. The rain comes in sometimes, and sometimes it goes. Okay, gentlemen, you're welcome. It's good to see you all. Hope you had a beautiful weekend.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we're starting with some quick breaking news that's coming in. Sir George, you and I have been putting our eyes in Edo State. Edo State,
Yes.
this evening has increased the minimum wage for workers in the state from 40,000 to 70,000. So the government made the announcement at the program, the inauguration of a newly built ultra-modern labor house in Okpoba Hill in Benin City. So that's breaking news for us. He has increased his minimum wage from 40,000 to 60,000, 70,000. Also, on international breaking news is Scottish First Minister Hamza Yusuf. Hamza have resigned barely a year into this office. He said the coalition of his government has fallen, so he's stepping down. And Hamza has been the Scottish First Minister, and 1 year now, but he's leaving because he says the coalition can't hold. So, gentlemen, that's fast breaking news. I don't know if you have anything to say on that before we move on. Do you?
Well, I will commend Obaseki, the governor of Edo State, for
Mhm.
caring about the people of Edo, and
Yeah.
then we are actually mentioning the fact that because of devaluation of naira and then the economic welfare of Nigeria as a whole, that mostly they're not they have seen that people are suffering desperately, and therefore they're increasing it to 70,000 naira, which is commendable. But the minimum wage in Nigeria has been a very important, a lot of people are talking about these things, and most of the time when the minimum wage are increased, not all states, apply it, equally. And now they are actually leading in increasing that minimum wage. The suggestion has been that minimum wage ought to be about 100,000 naira based on the devaluation of naira and everything else, food inflation and all, insecurity and everything. So I highly commend him on doing that. And he's saying that the reason why this is happening is simply because of their relationship with the labor. I'm talking about the Labor Congress over there, that they have
Yes.
enjoyed a very peaceful environment, no strikes or nothing like that, because there is adequate communication between the government and the Labor Congress.
Yes.
So
He
highly
said
commendable, highly commendable.
highly commendable. Very good, George. George, we can hear your voice, but we can't see you
Yeah,
in
it
real
feels like
time. It's okay, but we can hear you loud and
different.
clear. Good
Okay.
one. Let's welcome our London, UK correspondent. That's Madam Fiona Akanu. You're welcome to Between the Lines. How are you, Madam Fiona?
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Lady Fiona, thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Sir George. Good
Lady
evening,
Fiona,
Mr.
welcome
Raji.
to the program.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good. Good. All right, gentlemen. So, yes, those are the two fast breaking news that just flew in. Now let's come to some other news. Then we will come to what I call viewpoints, between the lines viewpoints.
By the way,
Yes.
Massive Mark, the
Yes.
man that just resigned is a perfect example of what governing ought to be.
Okay.
You know, he's stepping down. But if such a situation had happened in any of our African countries, would you actually see them resigning? I don't think so.
Don't let us
Because
don't let us criticize ourselves. They have a system of government that makes it easy for them. When the coalition collapses, the prime minister will have to leave.
well,
It's a
we have a
tradition, yes.
system. We have they have a parliamentary system.
A parliamentary
Maybe
system, yes.
Yeah, but that's what we really need to get back into, based on the level of our. I don't know if I will call it, civilization, or because of the level of corruption that we have in the country. We really need to go back into that parliamentary system, because there are more checks and balances with the executive presidency. Look at what is happening. You make
It's a dictator.
yeah, you make a decision, no challenges of any kind. Everybody's on
Nothing.
board with you, whether you're right or wrong. That's why 8 years we have dug ourselves into a mess that is taking so long now to come out of, and it will take us a decade to come out of it. So maybe
Okay,
that's
viewers,
what we need
if
to
you're
consider.
yes, thank you, George. If you are watching, that's the picture of Humzi Yusuf that has resigned as the Scottish first minister, and he says he can't hold, his government can't hold, so he's backing down.
And,
Okay,
and
yes,
he's
George,
of
very sensible.
Indian descent, though. Anyway, he's from yeah. Background is
Thank you,
Indian.
George. Okay. Yes, he's I think Indian, Scottish. Yeah, let's move on. The president of Nigeria is in Saudi Arabia on I think it's a summit going on there, and it's a special World Economic Forum, and he's meeting with some tech engineers and big tech companies. He's telling them to come and invest in our country. Come and invest. He's speaking to Samsung CEO, speaking to some of the big firms there to come to Nigeria. He even met with the billionaire Bill Gates. So the discussion is on this is first of all, do you guys know he's there making this invitation?
Yes, we are aware.
So the talk there is yes, some of the things he says is very it's obvious. Nigeria has a young population that are all tech savvy, very, very tech savvy, But my own point of view with them more is they are not making their explorations on this media line. They are not making it intentional. It's more of a joke thing. And they don't know that big money is coming out of this. So we need a structure that will make it look real solidified for people, and now income can be earned and all that. Fiona, how will you say we're doing, and the president inviting more big tech firms to come to Nigeria? You think it's a good idea? You think it will work?
I think the principle of what is happening is fantastic. It's not a bad thing for the president to be inviting people to come in, for them to be inviting investors, for us to be looking at the tech aspect of things, because a lot of the generations coming up now, they're very interested and very invested, personally in this sort of space. I think it's important for us to ensure that it's directional and intentional, so that it's not just a whole bunch of people that know how to get likes online, but actually they can understand the technical abilities behind it. On the flip side of that, I'm quite concerned anytime anybody talks about going to invest in Nigeria, because there's an ongoing thing that's going on, and it makes me wonder how investors feel about actually coming to dump intensive capital in Nigeria, when the government or the order of the day could turn around on a decision of a big investment. So that's my only concern. If investors are coming in, perhaps if there was a way that it could be enshrined in the legislation that the next government, et cetera, couldn't, derail an already chosen pathway. I think something like that needs to happen before investors are going to be fully confident to come into Nigeria in that kind of big way.
Thank you very much, Fiona. Yes. George, you want to say something?
Yes,
Reg,
I do.
you want to say
Yes, I
something?
do.
But before
Yes, I
you
do.
go ahead, let me say this, that Yes, investing in tech will ensure some real progress for Nigeria. I'm in the tech field, and there's a lot to make out of it. But Fiona is saying something now. Fiona is bringing a topic that we'll also go into later on, and that is what's the confidence investors have when they come to a country that is volatile like Nigeria. Government changes policies overnight. You put your money to something, and probably another government will come and say, no, that was then. Now it's this. You're not doing this no more. Blah blah blah. So Raji, help us with this argument Fiona is coming in with.
No investor is going to go into any space where there isn't sufficient guarantee of his investment. Then the Nigerian situation is so topsy-turvy that we don't need to invite investors to come to our country. When the situation is okay, investors will come in with their money. They will come in with their, but it's not by the president going to invite investors to come in that they will come in. And then talking about using technology to curb corruption. If you understand the amount of corruption that goes on in the banking system now with all the technology, you'll be shocked. So it's not just a matter of bringing technology, investing in technology. No, the infrastructure should be such that it gives the investor confidence that the situation on ground gives him confidence. He will come himself. He doesn't have to be invited. He will come when he sees that
the land will attract anything good.
Yes,
George.
Yeah.
George, you're clear now. Go ahead, George.
Listen to this, though. Listen. You see, what we're seeing here is our president has become the executive salesman for the country. And he's doing well, if you ask me. You have to position yourself internationally and diplomatically. And his confidence level in speeches are now rising. And that's what is really attracting a lot of people, because success is very attractive. So what he's doing right now, he's going through different areas and different aspects of businesses, international businesses, to bring them in. Okay, look at this. If what he had just secured $600 million investment in a seaport infrastructure from this Danish company called Maersk. He just did that. So now what are they going to do? They're coming into Nigeria. They're already there, but their $600 million is going to be invested in order to actually, make sure that our seaports are, drilled. The level of the depth of it is going to be increased. Therefore, using bigger ships to bring products and stuff to Nigeria rather than transporting them from the bigger to the smaller one. So that is a major milestone that he has just achieved in this journey that he just took. So when you listen to him talk, his level of confidence is rising. As much as I disagree with some of the narratives, or for instance, trying to defend the fact that he stopped the subsidy, which a lot of people are still alleging that subsidies are still being paid, but people are not. We don't know that, but still. When it comes to the international affiliation with other countries, I am enjoying the man. The difference between him and the predecessor is the fact that man, the other predecessor, can go out into all this, but they don't know how to harness and take advantage of the opportunities. They don't know.
But George, you speak well. Yes, George is bringing a different angle to it again. But now let's come to what necessitated what Fiona said. Fiona, the federal government begins today the demolition of a landmark bar, the bar beach that has been built on for its own coastal road project.
I was coming to
George.
That's the
area. Yeah, that's the area Fiona is going. And now let's talk about it. Now, the federal government of Nigeria initiated the demolition of that landmark beach, a popular recreational spot in Lagos. Some of you might have been there. I have not been there, but I see what it is on clips. They said they are making way for a coastal road project. That road project we've been talking about, the Lagos-Calabar coastal road. And now, why we're putting it in this context is because this is an investment project. This Nigerian man came with some investors and they did this, and now it's going down. So, Fiona, I want you to come up again and say what you said. Now, putting into light this beach, these resorts, and let's look at it from that angle. How do you bring in a businessman from America or somewhere, or Saudi Arabia, one big businessman, hedge fund company, ready to put their money into something, and 2, 3, 4 years?
Let Fiona talk.
Yes. Okay, Fiona. Yes, that's why I'm putting it to her. Fiona, go ahead.
So, first of all, I have to say that I think the minister today said that that it's a big fuss about nothing, that nobody is knocking anything down. So that's what he said. So I have to praise everything I'm saying with that. That said, I cannot imagine what it must feel like to be in the investors' shoes of this project. This is a multi-million-dollar project, and I cannot understand how it is okay for people to just think, oh, well, we're just going to knock it down for this road to pass by. I'm sure he's a very well-educated man. I'm sure he has a toolkit full of people of all calibers, surveyors, etc., etc. I'm sure he would have put forward a proposal to find a way of bypassing the landmark so that it wouldn't have to be destroyed in any way. So I find it quite interesting and rather alarming that a project of this magnitude that has external investors could be almost rubbished as though it doesn't mean anything. So for me, what that means going forward is that even I, who am, I'm just Fiona at the end of the day, even if I was to consider going to do something in Nigeria and I was having a group of people come with me, if they heard this sort of thing, what kind of confidence would that give them? Because I'm sure he must have had some kind of permission to erect something of this magnitude there. So what kind of confidence does any other person have doing just any simple thing, talk less of things of that? So that's the thing that really concerns me, that how can something of this magnitude that attracts tourists, people that come in from abroad go there? Why? Would it be, I mean, we hardly have any proper tourist destinations in Lagos. Why would the government think that this is a perfect thing to do at a time like this, where we really need, as much as
infrastructures?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Massimo, please, talking about investment. If I'm coming to invest in this country, I want to see how they are investing their own money. Now, if a government can use the budget of 36 states to build a road, which is not even an investment, a road on which there can never be any appreciable return on investment in the next 100 years, 15 trillion naira. Maybe my concept of the value of naira is different, but 15 trillion, with 15 trillion for a road, I think that's madness.
Okay.
Now, so we have a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions. Number one, what is the urgency of this whole entire thing? A lot of controversy have come out of this, actually. And then the question has been, why are we building a road from Lagos to Calabar when there are roads that you can actually fix for a fraction of that amount?
Existing already.
Okay, so another question is, what gives that Lagos State Building Control Agency, LAPSCA, to just arbitrarily just go and start doing this immediately? What is the urgency of this whole entire thing? What studies has been done in order to find out the pros and cons of building this road and destroying some businesses that are already there? Why are we forcing? I have said it before. Many governments will come in power. They will bring in such projects, and these are ways of them stealing money from our country. If not, why are we rushing into this? Why can't we fix all these federal roads that are dilapidated? Bring it to at least an acceptable level before you start thinking about others. There is a road that leads from Lagos to Calabar. Why can't we fix those that are messed
already
up? Look at what is happening right now. Tankers are falling all over the place because of the deplorable state that our roads are in. And then you want to go into $15 trillion? Are you kidding me? Something is wrong somewhere, and that's the reason why I'm saying we need to change this parliamentary, this executive system into a parliamentary where the opposition can actually have a say so and stop this madness that is going in our country. The person who
15 trillion
investors. Can you just imagine what is going on in our country right
15 trillion.
So sad. We need to delve into this seriously, and we need to, as a matter of fact, if it wasn't because of these tribal sentiments that we're having, the nation needs to rise up and stop this madness
and stop that nonsense.
So yes, madness.
15 trillion.
Madness indeed. But we're also even saying it to the point of breaking down a business that brings in income for the state, for the country, pays family, take care of family, and doing all of this. Now that business is being shut down. And what the minister is saying is this construction doesn't affect that business. But it's not true, because today the demolition has started. They have to break some structures that have been laid. They have to, and what we had is that road they are trying to build can be enrouted. They can change the direction.
Can be routed, yes.
Of passing through that line of that.
Fiona. And it is less than 2 kilometers.
Okay.
Less than 2 kilometers.
Yes. Okay, Fiona, you were going to say something. That's what you think.
I think I said that earlier, that I'm sure that the owners of the landmark would have come up with several proposals, which this, because I'm sure there must be an alternate route that this thing can take. So for me, the way it just looks like, you know what, I'm in bed with the Shaguris, I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's what it is. Because there's absolutely no good reason why there should be this urgency, as Sir George has alluded to. The amount of money we're talking about is in trillions, as Sir Raji has said. So for me, there's something that really stinks to high heaven in the whole situation.
It is.
And we have a gangster government. We have gangsters as government.
So for me, it's very. I also
have gangsters as government who are arrogant, who are incorrigibly arrogant.
I also want to speak to the mental aggravation that this is causing on the poor. I cannot imagine what this must feel like
on the owners.
I just can't imagine what this especially the Nigerian owner, what this was every day, the heartache, the pain, the stress, the amount of money he has already probably paid out in bribes to try, because I'm sure that he didn't just sit down and say, okay, he must have run around, he must have spent so much money, and for us to be at this stage now, after just it's a sad day, really, to be quite honest. If this really happens, it will be very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate.
If this really happens, it will be very unfortunate. And
listen to this, bro. And listen to this. I know we're highlighting the investors.
Yes.
Talk about the masses that are employed in this place. What eventually will happen to these people when the businesses are being distorted and messed up? A lot of employees will lose their job, and a lot of families will be affected. You see, these are the things that we need to do a complete and absolute study on. Buhari just came. Tinubu just came into government. How long did they study this thing before the implementation?
Okay.
When did they? What?
Even the notice they gave to these people. How long was the notice?
How long was the notice?
It's awful.
Okay, gentlemen. Regardless of that, it's madness. But regardless of that, some good things are also on the pipeline for Nigeria, as the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex are due to travel, come to Nigeria as part of their project.
Is that an investment?
Yes. So
I beg your pardon.
I want us to,
excuse me.
Is that an investment?
Well, somehow it is, because that game, the Invictus game, brings a lot of people together. So when you have it happening in a particular place, businesses also come along with it.
There's no way. There's no business.
Matters are rising. It's not because I don't see any.
Well, let's
any other business.
Let's lighten up ourselves, because it's really sad news you guys are saying there, and it hurts to know that we are doing this to ourselves. The black man is always putting himself backwards, pushing his brother when the brother is trying to rise to do something. So, well, this little
don't let us make it a black man thing.
Mm-hmm. You think it's not a black man thing? I was talking to
Fiona. I don't think so.
I said it's a black man thing because most times when you look at many businesses that black people try to start up, it's always the fellow black man that does everything to put it down. And
we'll call it the crab mentality.
Crab mentality, George. Crab mentality. Mm-hmm. What they forget is it's we that can also build our continent. It's we have black people, the Africans that understand the continent, that can bring in business. Like this man brought this beautiful leisure business. Relax, come and have some fun.
You have to be at landmark.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be at landmark to really appreciate what the guy has done in that place. You really have to be there.
I really need to ask the question: what is the name of the owner of the business? What's their last name?
It's an Okoro name anyway.
Yeah, no, but that one is a known thing.
Anyway,
guys, let's
want to bring it in there.
Let's go on a small break, viewers. Let's go on a small break. We'll be back. More stories, more keys. Good news too. Good things too. It's not all about the sad things. Good things too. See you. Yes, viewers, you're tuned back to Between the Lines, Monday SSM News Update Program. Gentlemen, you're welcome. Let's give a follow-up to the story of the former governor of Kogi State and that very crazy thing running there. Now, what we have this morning is the American International School, where he paid that big sum of money for the children's school fees in advance. The American International School, Abuja, says they are giving clarity on the refunds of fees paid by Yahaya Bello. Gentlemen, it's good to do follow-ups when there's an issue. You all know the story of Yahaya Bello and the American school. He paid his children's school fees and the EFCC coming on him. Fiona, this is how we keep putting our dirty singlets, t-shirts out. Singlets. Yes, let's hear.
It's absolutely first and foremost. The thing is this: our money laundering laws. You cannot tell me that the American International School did not realize that this was off. So for me, they also have a case to answer. So I understand he has a case to answer. It's very good that, obviously, because they've said, well, now that we found out that the money was proceeds of something, that the EFCC is investigating, we're happy to, turn over the funds. Yeah, that's all well and good. But what are your money laundering procedures? It is. I don't know if they don't have a policy that's fit for purpose within their establishment, then that's something that needs to be checked, because there's no organization that's just going to accept that kind of money. We're not talking about $20,000, whatever. We're talking about excess of $700,000 at once. So if your money laundering antenna didn't go up over that, they also have their own case to answer. I'm sorry, American International School, it's nothing personal, but I'm saying you cannot be receiving funds from people and you don't have a money laundering policy in place. And if you don't have one, you need to have one. You know, we can't just say, oh, well, so are we saying that if the light hadn't been shown on this, that you guys would have just sat down on this $700,000? Really? So to me, you know, everybody has a case to answer here. He has a case to answer, but I'm actually quite interested because they're Americans. You know, they do things the right way. We believe, you know, they're teaching us how to be, you know. So where is their own accountability in this situation? You know, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. So to me, really, they also have their own case to answer. Sorry, I'm not with you guys, but I'm just saying.
No, Fiona.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Yes,
I completely and absolutely understand where Fiona is coming from. But you have to understand that these schools are not the law enforcement officers.
Sure. No.
And when you are in Rome, you ought to, you know, you kind of flow a little bit with the Romans, because the way things are happening in Nigeria is quite different from the way things, when you as an individual cannot move a certain type of money without questions being asked, where is it coming from, where is it going, and for what purpose. Exactly. But in Nigeria, things like this happen all the time. So I mean, he's a governor. We don't know the conversation prior to what happened before the money was transferred, whether it was his own personal money or whether it was you know, whatever the case might be. But the point is, they're not there to every now somebody pays a little bit above certain amount, they bring a red flag in there. What they are
that wasn't a little bit.
No, that's not a little bit, Sir George. That's not a little bit.
That wasn't a little bit at all. In fact, that bit was.
No, what I'm saying is this: somebody could have actually paid $1 million, okay, for the whole entire children. Dangote can be able to do that. And a lot of other Nigerians can easily pay that. They're not government officials.
What is their school fees? What are the school fees?
Okay, but so sorry, Sir George. Sorry, I just want to interject quickly. So I hear all these things that you said. That does not mean they shouldn't have a money laundering policy in place. You see, I hear what you're saying.
Money laundering is within if the money is going outside of Nigeria, I can understand. But money was deposited into possibly a Nigerian account that belongs to the school.
Account.
So, yeah. And so it would be a dollar account, I presume. It wasn't a naira account, right?
Yeah. Evidently,
account, yes.
Even the bank also should have a money laundering.
Yes.
So there's so many issues here. Too many.
Which bank?
Too many.
Which Nigerian bank?
The bank into which the amount was paid.
If there isn't, we should have a money laundering policy in place. You can't even try it in the United Kingdom to pay more than £10,000 into your account. Well, it's going to be
the funny aspect of this whole thing we're saying is this: we're talking from a foreign mentality.
No, the laws are still here in Nigeria, but they are not obeyed.
Even if you institute that law in Nigeria, it's only for you and me, not for the elite.
And anyway,
go and check it out.
The head of the school, Greg Hughes, said, they remit funds that are under scores, and they have a commitment to uphold the school integrity and respect the people's security and blah, blah, blah. But he ended up by saying he affirms that the institution is doing all it can with EFCC, and they respect the National Institution of Nigeria even more than their own institution. That's
they don't have a choice.
Sorry, can I just say one more thing? Sorry.
Yes, go ahead. Say one more thing. I'm
hopeful that when they do refund this $700,000, it doesn't disappear into the mist.
Thank you. That's exactly the point. That's exactly because much money has been repatriated into the country, and we don't know where it ended up.
Okay.
That's good.
Guys, let's move on.
By the way, finally, I know Yahaya Bello, my brother Yahaya Bello, muscle man. Next time when you want to steal, be a good thief. Thank you.
The white lion.
I rest my case.
All right, guys. Let's more stories making round. This one is not too good. Coming from Kenya. A dam collapsed in Western Kenya yesterday, and 40 people, have been declared dead. 40.
Is it 40 or 140?
40. There's a clip on that.
Others are saying 70 actually.
Yeah, some people are saying okay, but I think AP Africa, the AP News Corporate, has the story that is 40 as at this morning. But what we were looking at is the dam that opened up. The dam, how come a dam is not being controlled, and you can do this to people, sweep out their homes by opening up? Somebody somewhere probably opened up that dam, and a malfunction. Anyway, our viewers, not too good story coming from Kenya. Let's just put it at 50 people now probably gone as a result of a dam that has been opened up and killed people because the water swept through their homes, cut off their road lines, as the police have said. All right, gentlemen, let's go on with more stories. Who is following the Togo election? Today, Togo has gone to the polls. Yes, this Monday, but it's not the presidential poll. It's not the presidential election. It's a parliamentary election. But they are using it to also test what will be a foretaste of the presidential election too. So who has story on that? Who's following that? Raji, I know you follow African updates. What do you have on Togo?
I think they're actually changing their system of government to a parliamentary system. And that's what they want to do. Yes, because the Yadima people have been there for too long.
Yes, the Yadima's family has been holding the country for 60 years now, more than.
I know, since I was here.
And since we were little, we've always known them. Now there was this election they are doing now would have been done earlier, but there were protests. The government, people protested because Yadima's son, that is still the president, that's the young man you're seeing there in the middle. That's Yadima's son you're seeing there. That's Fure. Nisingba. That's Eyadima's son. He wanted to topple and change the presidential election timing, so they protested, and the protest now brought it to this point in time when they will have the parliamentary election first, then they will go on to the presidential election. So his plan was to scrap that presidential election, a law they were trying to bring up that will make it illegal and all that. So crazy things they do in Africa. George, you talk mainly about African leadership.
Yes.
What we think about this?
Togo. It's being reported that about 4.2 million people, eligible voters in Togo, are going to be voting. And unlike in the previous times, they used to vote in the parliamentary election and then vote for the president. But the problem we're having right now, what brought about this whole entire protest originally was simply because of what took place, where they're trying to change the conversation about the timing of the presidential election and all that kind of stuff. What we are hoping is that this parliamentary election actually will open the door for us to know how the presidential election will ever, will end up happening, because they have, muscled themselves and held on to the leadership in that country up until now. So hopefully, some kind of way the voices of the people will be heard, because I'm quite sure that the people of Togo would rather have somebody else to step into that leadership role rather than from this particular family. But it's such a sad thing, though. Such a sad thing that we're experiencing in this our continent called Africa. But anyway, hopefully it will all turn out to be well at the end.
Thank you, George. Good rundown on that information. For our viewers watching, Togo is the country in West Africa that's bordered by Ghana by the west, Benin at the east, and Burkina Faso at the north. And Togo has a population of about 8.84 million people. So beautiful country. Also, the citadel of voodoo. Yes, voodoo.
Really?
Anyway,
what's wrong with voodoo?
Oh, Lord,
African culture. Yeah,
here we go again.
Yes, right. I really love it.
Let's go on.
Raji.
Let's go on to some other news now. The man you see there was former Senate President Wabara. He's saying something. He's blowing a whistle that we all need to check. He says, APC, the present APC government wants to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. He's a former Senate President and also the chairman. He's in the board of trustees of PDP. But Alfonso Swabara is blowing this whistle, and I think it's something we should talk about. APC is trying to make Nigeria one party state, and we're seeing it playing out, George, Fiona. We're seeing a lot of PDP members, top strong members decamping, and all this, funny movement back and forth. Fiona, let me start with you. Do you think APC can make Nigeria one party state?
I think they might try. I don't think they will succeed. But I think, anything that's, what trying is worth trying. But I don't think they will succeed. They might give it a good go, but I don't think they will succeed. I think when you have states like Delta State, that's like a PDP stronghold, I think it's going to take quite a lot to upturn that kind of state. So that's just my own opinion on that. But I see what he's saying. I understand what he's saying, and I understand the thinking behind it. And it's just something that we have to be aware of, because we can't really have. It's bad enough as it is. We essentially have a country that's two parties. They're all pretty much of a muchness, really. But we can't have a situation where there's only one party. That would be absolutely terrible. It will be. We all know what absolute power does. So we don't want that kind of situation.
George.
Yes.
George,
okay. Number one, haven't been in that zone, temporarily before. I can tell you there are no ideological differences between
the two parties.
APC. It's all the same, and that is the reason why the ease of movement is just like, if you stole from this party and then they're coming after you and the leading party is here, you run over in order to get protection. We call it the political safety valve system. That's what it is called. So now the point is, I don't think that APC, even if APC is trying to, even if they are trying to, the point is that people are running there, not because they don't believe in the ideologies. No, it's simply because this is the winning party. This is the place I can go. I have the possibility of being contract or even get elected or whatever the case might be. So that is the mentality of our people. So I don't think that if they are. PDP did it for many years. They muscled themselves and they handled situation. Now that the North and the West came together and were able to form a coalition, and then they are ruling right now. So PDP themselves, if they remain active, if they remain an active opposition party, a lot of people will stay with them. But if they become dormant and just Kesara type of political attitude, then a lot of people will jump over. So when he's talking about that, APC, hold on. When they're saying that APC is trying to do this, they are actually shooting themselves on the foot if they're not very active in their opposition, narratives. Go ahead.
Yes, what I want to put, Raji, that this also made last time some strong men, political strong figures in Nigeria was saying, let's have an alliance, a merge of all these smaller parties into one, so that they can withhold and stand against APC. But those small parties, they didn't. I think everybody had their ego, so they didn't really play to that. But maybe that could have worked, Raji. An alliance of all these LP,
There's no way any alliance will work against him. And as Sir George has already mentioned, there's no ideological difference between all these parties. Very few of them have any ideology. And therefore, even the concept of opposition, the concept of the opposition party does not exist. There's actually no existence of any opposition party, as you have in UK, for instance, where the opposition is clear from the government. Look at the state of Rivers State. Is Rivers State a PDP state or an APC state? Because the whole thing is a complete mess.
It's a hybrid.
So
it's hybrid.
Okay. GMO. Because honestly, the concept of opposition doesn't exist. So there's nothing happening about opposition.
Okay.
But it will be sad for us if you become. It will be sad for us if you all subsume into a single party state, because then Tinubu can do whatever he's doing. He can spend 50 trillion to tar the road in this local government. You know.
Anyway,
Sad.
thank you. So the man has blown the whistle anyway, and we should all be on the guard so that we understand what's going on. Some people don't even know where some people belong to. Like some of us don't even know which party people like Wike wants to stand with. You know,
whether it's PDC or PSC or whatever.
Okay, let's go to a story before we go to the main viewpoint for today. That other story is about the Iraq. This morning is coming. The news is coming this morning. I'm trying to bring a picture of the story.
The rapper.
Iraq has not the rapper, has criminalized same-sex relationship.
Marriage.
Yes,
that's no news.
Oh, it's not news.
No, it's not news.
It's news. It's news. It's news. It's
So,
news.
But has it not always been a criminal?
Criminalizing this is no news. You
It's no news. Look,
Max, sorry, let me understand something. So has it not always been an offense there?
It's always been an offense.
Always.
Okay.
That's always been an offense.
Okay, but now
you can do it secretly. Yes.
You go to jail. You go to jail. Say 15 years in prison for it.
Simple. Yes.
Okay. So, but so it's still news.
It's news. It's news.
It's still news to the American LPDCQ whatever.
Okay, that's it, gentlemen. Now let's come to what I call viewpoints, the between the lines. But before then, let's between the lines, guys, viewers, between the lines. What we're looking more at today is what I call how to stop, how to reduce. It's getting out of control now. A lot of explosions, gas tankers explosions. On Friday, we had about 5 people, 70 vehicles burned in Eleme River State. Eleme River State. And before the weekend ended yesterday, I think it happened Saturday to Sunday, we had the tanker explosion again in Oshin, in Lagos Abeokuta Express Road. So, guys, this is becoming too much. Nigeria is an oil-producing country, and we know that there is heavy movement of gas, liquefied petrol, all these things at every point in time. Why haven't we thought about how these things will not be killing us, harming us as we move them around, distribute them, and all that? George, I was thinking of a small solution, and I came up with the idea of federal government thinking of building a different road path for trailers, tankers, and all these heavy vehicles to pass through. They are not on the same line with an ordinary vehicle. George, let's hear you.
Well, anyway, listen, number one, that's a good idea. All things being equal. But all things are not equal in Nigeria. We're already spending 15 trillion naira to build about 700 kilometers of road from Calabar, Lagos to Calabar. And then the roads that are already so messed up right now, nobody's talking about it. Nobody's doing anything about it. One thing is that the government needs to look into this. Number one is strict regulation and enforcement needs to happen. The drivers that are driving this, are we sure that they are really qualified to drive these tankers? That's number one. Number two is making sure that every single driver that is driving some of these hazardous materials, we'll call it hazardous because it's a death trap when anything happens. And then also there needs to be a government regulated information on every news channel about this. When you see a tanker fall with this hazardous material, run for your life. Don't go in there trying to scoop oil from the ground that you cannot get. Is this part of this weaponization of poverty that is causing people anything that they can grab, as a freebie for them, they go after it. So, and number two is planning our roads well. See, when we begin to plan our roads well and ensure that these roads that are being built, and when they are built, there are certain lanes that will be designated for these big trucks that are driving hazardous materials and everything. So, and then also number two, we were talking about some of these vehicles that are being used are, how many years old, so we need
50.
to 50 years old. I mean, come on. We need to enforce vehicle maintenance. There have to be road monitoring to take a look at some of these vehicles to make sure that they are operating fine. If you come to North America here, there are certain places where most of these vehicles will have to pass through. And when they pass through, they look at the maintenance. They look at everything pertaining to them before they get back into the road. You can't just drive past it. You have to go through it and register. So, and then also another thing is emergency response system, because we don't have any. Most of these things that are happening in element, if you were to call now, okay, let's bring ambulance there or whatever the case may be, or fire truck, none whatsoever. So these are some of the things that we really, really need to do and make sure that it is public awareness campaign about some of these vehicles, that when they fall and there is fire, don't go close to it. Run for your lives.
Run for your life.
Before there's fire. Even before there's fire.
Even before.
Mark, can I come in?
Okay, come in. Go ahead.
Okay, Sir George has mentioned a lot. First, the roads. The first time I went to Eleme, and I said, Eleme is near our petrochemicals, the refinery. The roads are impassable. You can't pass through those roads. Two, the same thing that happens with Apapa. The Apapa road is so impassable that you can't, and that's where most of the traders come from. Then the age of the trailers, they are mostly Mark trucks, and these Mark trucks you can see cannot be less than 50 years when you see them. But Mark trucks are built to last, but it's not for them to last for 100 years. Regularly, when they are going uphill, they have problems. They have problems going uphill. And then when they are going uphill, they have to stop. There's a serious problem because they normally drift back. So first of all, we have to look at the vehicles and the roads. And then the drivers. Most of the drivers are regularly energized. There are these sachet drinks that they sell that you get to buy at every station. Origin, Alomo bitters, and others, and that gives them energy. And when they drink that drink, when they have that drink, they are energized. All of them have to be checked.
All of them.
It's unfortunate the death we have.
Explosive gases, explosive oil vapor, flammable gas, all these things are being moved in a country in places where no check, no control, nothing. And these trailers will go boom, blast off, kill hundreds, and every year we keep having this. Take note that it has happened in Europe. It happens in the Western world. You all know. I saw an old news of a similar inferno in Spain in 1978 that took about 128 people, and some other cases too. But you see, they've grown, they've studied this whole thing. Now they've grown to a stage where it doesn't cause harm anymore for them, except an intentional explosion, So Fiona, what are some of your own suggestions to curbing this? It's becoming too much every day.
So firstly, I think that there has to be an improvement in the infrastructure. So there's no point having roads that people have to manipulate all these heavy duty vehicles through, and they're finding difficulty. So that's the first thing. But I think aside from the infrastructure element, that's a fact, I think that corruption underpins a lot of this. And when I say corruption, what do I mean? So we've had different members of the law out on the roads stopping these vehicles, et cetera, et cetera. But when they stop them, they bribe them, they keep moving. Oga, where is your license? They don't have a license, they bribe them, they move on. So there's so many different things that people get away with doing just by tipping the whoever stops them. So when that structure of control and checks and balances doesn't work, it doesn't matter. We can say all these beautiful things, but if the person that's driving has no license and knows that he's going to tip 2,000 naira on his way and he'll be fine.
Drunk.
If the car is not roadworthy and I'm going to tip them and they know that one of the tires is flat, but if I tip them 100, so while this is still a known fact that this still happens, people are not going to change. There will not be a change. So we can talk about it, but there won't be change in as much as that corruption still goes on at the hard face.
Checks and balances.
There's not going to be any change in that, you know. In terms of public service, I think what Sir George said is really critical. And I know that they've done things like that in Nigeria, where there've been infomercials where they've said, listen, when you see a tanker toppled over, that's not the place for you to go and be messing around. You know, they have done it. But you see, the thing is, Nigerians, you see, all those kind of things, they need to, even if you have it on repeat, it's just their natural way is that when they see anything that's free, they just go to it. It's their way. It's you know, they don't think about the danger. I've seen things where they've started to carry lanterns towards, you know, so all that is just, it's about poverty, you know.
But how poor can people be? They don't even think. George, your hands were up because this is up between the lines. You know, this is serious. So let's.
I know. You see, educating people is one thing, you know, but you know, continue education where it becomes a household type of information where everybody knows, okay, how many people have died? You show the numbers statistically, how many tankers have fallen. But number one is, okay, now I know that the company that is actually handling this road between Lagos and Calabar, you know, we didn't hear about, you know, competition, whether it's going to be or not. You know, one company is now have been assigned and given this contract to build the road. Now we need to look into it, because what happened is Tinubu is out there searching for investment technologically. He's discussing with Bill Gates about how to use technology for security systems and all that kind of stuff. But you know what's going to happen at the end of the day? When these things are done, you will see the people that are in charge when they come and you bring the best equipment that can actually last us for many, many years. When they look at it, they will go to China and buy the aftermarket and bring it in there. This is exactly what happened many years ago when the DPO in Abuja, we brought some technological equipment to them for, you know, for video systems and all that kind of stuff. This man took our system and went to China and duplicated it. So during the UN, when they bombed the UN center in Abuja and that particular police station, all of a sudden they're looking at the video was done. But I know exactly what happened, because the people at the head, they will come and bring something that looks so sophisticated and good, but it's nothing but when the heat, Equatorial Guinea heat hits, it melts away inside. So we have to also make sure that what these things that we are doing, when they're building the road, let us build the road where these big tankers, because they are heavy, they can't be sharing the same road with smaller vehicles. You know, so when they build it especially for them, and it will last a long period of time. But if you don't do that, we can build all we want to. When the tankers go in and come out, before you know it, it will dissipate, and you know, nothing will come off of it. So we need to be very careful when it comes to, you know, longevity of these roads.
And then even our tankers, why don't we transport most of these things by rail? Rail can carry much more than all these things.
Which rail?
Very good question, Raji. Very good question.
Yeah, it's a good one, but which one though?
It's
how many
something we have to
we have?
No, it's something we have to look into, George.
Yes, I know, but we don't have
the
it.
rail.
Now, do you know that? Sorry, Mark. Do you know that there was a time when you could not transport tankers or petrol tankers or gas tankers during the day? They were only allowed to go out at night. But that was stopped.
Okay. Gentlemen, lady, you have done it. We have come to Between the Lines Monday. We have to go. We'll be back Wednesday. But George, I want to thank you. Brilliant talk. And
I want to ask you a question before we go. This your shirt. Is it? Are you promoting what happened in Iraq, or are you against it?
Who is that?
Your shirt.
The colors,
Talking about
the colors, LGBTQ,
My
XYZ.
It's a lovely shirt.
No,
Oh,
this
beautiful.
is,
It's beautiful. It's
this is-
The
beautiful.
colors,
this is
the colors of
right
the
side.
rainbow.
I'm putting on a color, rainbow color. That's what they say, but not in that sense. All things bright and beautiful. God made them
Them
all.
all.
God made
Yes.
them all. No, but not anybody. But I'm putting on a kente or muffler inside because it's
Okay.
a really cold
Completely.
year. And yes,
Okay.
a kente from Ghana. And
Yeah.
my rainbow dress.
I-
Thank you, George,
I-
for observing that.
I
Thank
have
you,
a
guys.
Kente song giving.
Till we come again, Fiona. Thank
All
you for
right.
coming.
Thank you
Everybody,
very
have a beautiful
Yeah.
week. See
Have
you
a
on
good
Wednesday.
evening.
Have a good
Thank
evening.
you. Bye-bye.
Thanking Guy guys who joined